Woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. Good friends we have, good friends we have lost along the way. Yeah, in this great future, you can't forget your past. So dry your tears, I say. Yeah, no woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. Yeah. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. Everything's gonna be alright. 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 Yeah.
Small and medium-sized business owners, promote your business on Fit FM Business Ball Out. Call our sales office today at 876-377-3442 or 876-317-1991. Don't be left out. Promote your business on Fit FM Business Ball Out. Is your interactive call-in health feature brought to you by Omega Medical Urgent Care Center, 28 to 29 Champion Plaza, Falmouth, Trelawney, inside the Community Buzz, Mondays at 3:30 p.m. Call in on 876-513-6668 or 876-478-9144 and have your medical related questions answered by the specialist Dr. Live. That's at the doctor. Brought to you by Omega Medical Urgent Care Center, your healthcare provider of choice on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
For 2 days, the 5 o'clock hour is hot on Fit FM 96.7, www.fitfmja.com. Your life, your music with Lady D, Denise Gomez, Inside the Zone. Catch me on Monday at 5 p.m. for the Monday Drive, keeping you in the know in the city you walk, drive, and reside. And on Friday, yes, at 5 p.m. for Center Stage, the platform where voices are heard and people connect. From abroad to yard, Trelawney, me love you.
This is Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music. The time courtesy of Trelawney's Radio is 3 p.m.
96.7. Blessings and light. This is Imara, the musical revolutionary. Your host on the Community Buzz on Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music. This and every Monday at 3 p.m. From the home to the community to the wider world. Let us be the change we want to see. Join me this and every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Community Buzz on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
Struggle goes on. We are the builders of the pyramids. We are the builders of the stone cities of Zimbabwe. We build them White House. We build them factories. With blood, with sweat, with tears, with flesh, with bones. Them use build them economy. Now them want come con you and me with them science and them technology. We make them take with knowledge. Now them are deafly. Them are blind. We are walk, we are ride, we are drive, we are fly. Nah, look, nah, see. Eyes focus on the screen of an iPhone, Galaxy, tablet, Blackberry. Wake up, look, look. Uno no sister them are very weak. Ancestors crying out. Them are weak. You see we heading back to slavery. Robotic, digital, technological slavery. The rich take them session, call it recession, left the world in depression. Legal and illegal drugs and alcohol on the rise. In dear interest to our demise, we patronize, now become marginalized. Make fools seem wise because we abide them lies and sell with light. Prostituting our sons, daughters, and wives. Marcus did rise. Sam Sharp did rise. Bogle did rise. Taki did rise.
Yes. Great afternoon, or grand afternoon, or grand morning, or grand rising. Wherever you are in the world, we give thanks. Or grand evening, we give thanks. Because we are here again on the Community Buzz on Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music. And we are also simulcasting on primal4k.com. And as we say, we are on www.fitfmja.com. And you can also go to the various social media platforms, right? We're on Facebook and we're on YouTube, right? And also, we're on other media network. So link we up, you know what I mean? And you can get the Fit FM app, right? And walk with it anywhere you're there, right? Yes, it's a grand afternoon and we give thanks to be here, So many things happening here in Jamaica and across the world. Yeah, we see serious protesting taking place in Kenya. The people in Kenya decided that they are rising up against the government oppressive nature, right? And see the government aligning itself with the imperialistic power of the North. And it seemed like that government in Kenya is a proxy government, not a government for the people. So the people are demanding justice, you know what I mean? So we're looking on it, and yes, there's a lot of questions to be asked about Kenya, and other countries. We see an election took place in Southern Africa, and it seemed like the ANC is in bed with their former apartheid oppressors. What a world are we living in, you know what I mean? And we are observing things here in Jamaica, some serious issues. I was listening to the fireman this morning, interviewing, Dennis Meadows, talking about the Prime Minister and his utterances pertaining to locking down social media. What a thing. It is a serious thing. You know what I mean? And we have to pay attention to these things. How sad it is that the medium that you used, to become who you are, now it is working against you. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says his administration has been tracking down those who use social media for defamation purposes, and action will be taken against them in short order. Mr. Holness made a statement at a Jamaica Labour Party youth conference in North East St. Anne's on the weekend. I wonder what those young people were saying, right? Yeah, I mean, because they are there. Yeah, I mean, what they were saying, you see, and this is one of the things that we look on politics here in Jamaica. You know what I mean? You hear utterances from whatever party you support, and if the utterance don't make no sense, you're supposed to, whether you support the party, yes or no, and that is what we have to look on in Jamaica. we must, as a people, we must reach a stage where we move ourselves from this kind of fanaticism, you know what I mean? This kind of dogmatic politics where we can look and see wrong from right and say, no, my leader, that one you know sound right. You have to go explain this to we because you are dealing with us as a people. We don't ask you to dictate to us. We ask you to work in the interest of us, the people. You understand? That is what the election is about. And that is what any sensible democratic leader should think, to consult the people, not to dictate to the people. You know what I mean? When things seem like it is not going your way. And, you know, democracy is supposed to function in that light, that you have the right to choose. Well, if you are infringing upon the people right, what is that? And that is a question that we must ask. Any leader, not just our prime minister or, you know what I mean, any leader who are infringing upon the rights of the people. And, you know, I saw something from one of our social advocate, you know, and I totally agree with him because he's an advocate. I call him a social advocate, and I'm also an artist and a musician. Seeing Sprague Benz, you know, and I have to agree with him, you know, because when we reach a stage in our life where we realize, you know, our views don't count, you know, our views have to be pushed under the carpet or trampled down on because, you know, somebody else think, you know, to it that whatever we are saying, if it is not fitting your way or your narrative, then you are going to shut it down. You know, this is crazy. Not in a time like this when all of us are coming out of the same struggle, you know, and how can you become a traitor of your own people? That's the question that we are asking. You become a traitor of your own people, the same people saying who you come out of, the same people who you come walk and sit down on them doorstep and beg them for vote for you. You understand? So we have to look on these things. I didn't go to the mayor forum. Any news on that? We don't hear anything about that. Huh? No news? Yeah? And we don't see anything in a day.
What DSP Winston Milton said about you know, crime in the
Always
area, that yes,
crime and violence.
yes,
Yeah.
he spoke about that, and you know, at least you know, out of about 40 or 30 something cases, pretty much they're, you know, they've cleared up most of them.
Okay.
You know, so you know, and we just want to remind them criminals, you know, who thinking about coming to Chilani, but then tell them to think twice.
Okay. All right. Well, a long time we don't hear about the neighborhood watch. What is happening? The president is still Dr. Asha Moen.
Yeah, she talks about when
she was there as well. Okay.
I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
you know, occasionally you hear her mention things that's happening.
Yes.
Not just here in Chilani, but you know, island wide.
Yes. So we look on this tardy accounts block assessment of 700 billion spent by health minister. Jamaican taxpayers and the parliament are still unable to assess how the Ministry of Health and Wellness spent almost 700 billion in public resources allocated to the ministry over a 10-year period. Owing to the apparent failure by Permanent Secretary Dunstan Bryan to submit the appropriation accounts to the Auditor General in keeping with the Financial Administration and Audit Act. A Gleaner query to the Auditor General Department and Tuesday revealed that the backlog of appropriation accountants that had been flagged in successive annual reports of the Auditor General are yet to be submitted to review. Right? when you look upon these things, and that's why we say we have some system in Jamaica. They are just there. No form of punishment from people who violate. Them just do some things and you just hear about it and it come in the newspaper and that's it. Nothing more. You understand? Then just report on it. Right? So that's why when I read last week from Dr. Jeanette Calder, you know, her findings and some of the things that some of the misappropriation of funds. Make we use them pretty word. Some people that's a thieving, but you understand? Them use all sort of terms, you know, to misappropriate funds, and you don't know it go, but it don't have no foot and it don't have no wings, and it is people hands who are in the kitty. So where them funds are there, you understand? So these are the things that we must question. And people who are here in Jamaica get up every day and say, boy, me a show, me a power, me a comrade, or me a this, and me a that, right? You must question these things, because when you go to the supermarket and when you're sick, you understand? We see the matter about this ventilator thing, you know, we see the opposition spokesman and health and the minister of health at it from the past 2-3 weeks, you know what I mean? You know, it's punch and counter punch taking place, you know. So punches and counter punches, because there's many blows showing, you know what I mean? And we have to look at these things. We have to look at these things, and we have to, you know, question them and see if we can find the answers. And when we find the answers, we must take the appropriate action to make the necessary changes that will work in the interest of all of us, the Jamaican people. You know what I mean? So I'm asking, you know, people to wake up, you know, stand up and do what is right, do what is necessary for our fundamental liberation. You know, say, we want to go look a revolutionary today, you know. Yeah, you know, 3:30, yeah, we will have Omega Medical here, you know, from between 3:30 to 4. That half an hour is brought to you by Omega Medical,
Yes.
right? And we will have a doctor online. So my people who are out there listening near and far, you know what I mean? If just keep your phone open, and if you want to call or you want to text or, you know, want to send a voice note, you know what I mean, you can send it to these numbers. It's 764789144, 876-513-6668, right? You can send a voice note or WhatsApp, you know, or you can call in and ask the doctor a question or two, or, you know what I mean, if anything that is happening to you and you want to go and get a checkup, you can also be there to do that, right? So we are here on the Community Buzz, Zane, and that is coming up 3:30. So we will get in touch with the doctor. 3:30 to 4 p.m. And then 4 o'clock, we will link up our sister nurse, Clover Myrie, over there in London, yeah? And me know say, I want to bless her up, you know, because she should have gone to her bed and sleep. She's a hard-working woman. But she decided, say, she will sit up and talk with. See? So stay tuned for that, right? You know what I mean? We are going to talk about wellness, you know what I mean? And we're going to talk about, you know, the struggles of these people, what we call essential workers, you know, and see all the things that they have to face from day in, day out, you know what I mean? So we have to deal with all these things. Now, I want to read something from The Wretched of the Earth by Frantz Fanon, see? Because it's something that, more big up my brethren, Iman Black, see? Last week was really a deep reasoning, you understand? And me I tell you, Iman Black, you know, say you have to be a regular fixture right here, so, you know, because, you know, me know say Umoja, him not listen, you know what I mean? And him kind of conversation, yeah, him love, seeing, so we are going to go deeper into some of these things that we can awaken the consciousness of people, see, bring them to the kind of awareness that they need to find themselves in. Decolonization, which sets out to change the order of the world, is clearly an agenda for total disorder. But it cannot be accomplished by the wave of a magic wand, a natural cataclysm, and a gentleman agreement. Decolonization, we know, is an historical process. In other words, it can only be understood, it can only find its significance and become self-coherent insofar as we can discern the history-making movement which gives it form and substance. Decolonization is the encounter between two congenitally antagonistic forces that in fact owe their singularity to a kind of reification secreted and nurtured by the colonial situation. Their first confrontation was colored by violence and their cohabitation, or rather the exploitation of the colonized by the colonizer, continue at the point of the bayonet and under cannon fire. More read that again, that people understand. Their first confrontation was colored by violence and their cohabitation, or rather the exploitation of the colonized by the colonizer, continued at the point of the bayonet and under cannon fire. The colonist and the colonized are all acquaintances. And consequently, the colonist is right when he says he knows them. It is the colonist who fabricated and continues to fabricate the colonized subject. The colonist derives his validity, that is to say, his wealth from the colonial system. We want to look into these things to understand when we say we need to decolonize our mind, we need to decolonize the system, we need to look on the continuation of slavery, the modification of slavery, and how it is functioning and affecting us today, the world right now. And that's why the kind of protest that is taking place in Kenya is happening. And we have such a protest taking place here in Jamaica. It is just that it not reach the street yet. You know what I mean? And the people are well strained for a long while. We see the taxi operators, them came out about 2 weeks ago. You understand? And we have to observe these things and realize that there are serious things taking place. See? So Kenya police are leaving for controversial deployment in Haiti to take a powerful, violent gang. When you look on this madness, you have such a thing that take place in your country. Nairobi, hundreds of Kenyan police officers are leaving Monday for Haiti, where they will lead a multinational force against the powerful gangs whose deadly violence spike this year and help bring about change in government. The deployment is controversial. The government of Kenya and President William Ruto is defying a court ruling calling it unconstitutional, and critics have expressed concern about the long history of alleged abuses by police officers. The 400 police officers are the first of the 1,000 that Kenya expect to send for the United Nations led force in Haiti. Ruto's send-off ceremony on Monday was closed to the media, but his office shared a speech in which he urged the officers to uphold integrity. We have mediated many conflicts and are currently engaged in resolving more, he said. Don't let down the confidence the people of Kenya and the international community have in you. The court case seeking to block the deployment is pending, but an initial ruling had called the deployment constitutional, citing the lack of a reciprocal agreement between Kenya and Haiti. U.S. President Joe Biden, however, thanked Ruto for Kenya leadership of the multinational force. Joining Ruto recent state visit to Washington, the United States has agreed to contribute $300 million to the force, but Biden urged that an American troop presence in Haiti would raise all kinds of questions that can easily be misrepresented. Make we continue. More than 2,500 people were killed and injured in the first 3 months of the year in Haiti. The spike in violence began in late February and was displaced more and has displaced more than 500,000 people. Gangs now control at least 80% of the capital, Port-au-Prince, and key roads. Trapped outside the country as the international airport was closed, Prime Minister Ariel Henry was forced to resign. The most recent allegation by the watchdog against the Kenyan police for using excessive force came last week when 2 people died during anti-government protests. One protester was shot dead by a suspected plainclothes officer. The other was killed by a tear gas canister thrown by police. Kenya Independent Policing Oversight Authority is looking into police conduct during the protests in which more than 200 other people were injured. When you observe these things that is happening, 300 million you're contributing and you're saying it will raise. You are using us against us, and we are allowing ourselves, right, to be used by our enemies to fight our brothers and our sisters, because we understand the interest in Haiti and know say it is not the best interest of the people of Haiti, but outside forces, especially America, that colonized Haiti for over, from 1914, 1915, they have them foot in the necks of the Haitian people. Saying, and the people decide that they will not take it. Saying, so it's a revolution that take place in Haiti. I want people to understand that. Saying, watch the West Indies get themselves knocked out. It's a joke thing. Yeah, them fight still, them fight, but boy, I tell you, it is something where it touch your heart. Antigua, CMC, West Indies ambitious bid for the third T20 World Cup title ended in heartbreak on Sunday night when they were dumped by their home showpiece following a tense 3-wicket defeat to South Africa in their final Super 8 match. Yeah, West End, I saw it go. We salute still and reach a Super 8 and still, but some serious decision when we say people like Puran and now rush the thing too much, man. Could I take the thing a little bit easy? Russell, you come like you da, I don't know what around now the final. Jano, you should have just take your time, come like someone just make the thing just flying on the head, and I don't want to drink on the night. But under these tense conditions, I notice West Indies, every time they reach them point, it's like they just get jumpy like frog. Yes, I could play a piece of music now and then we come forward and we could say we'll come forward. 325. Now it's 325 and Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music. We're also small casting and primal4k.com. Big up the virgin name of Primal. Where I said Joel, how you doing Ema and all the listeners on primal4k.com. My brethren and sister in them in the UK and across the world in America. Hello? Yeah? In Mexico. Right? Russia, Ukraine, honor in Ukraine, right? Love and light, I'm already here, the musical revolutionary. A piece of music can come power.
No way, no way. Never let it make you wear a frown. Well, you have only one life to live. So your best shot, you've got to give. Facing all. Ten feet tall, standing 10 feet tall, standing 10. Yes, Jaja. Paul Bartley, saying Catalyst, Paul, that man. Saying Paul Bartley from Catalyst Crew, saying that is Vices and Dub. This album is called Vices and Dub, and that is 10 feet tall. Produced by Catalyst Crew and Roots Rap Music. Milton Boat, how you do? Brethren, a long time we not talk, Saying, we're going to Florida there. Yeah? Saying, 10 feet tall. Yours truly. Yes, say, before we go to the doctor, make we go right here. So, Ujima, collective work and responsibility to build and maintain our community together and make our brothers and our sisters' problems our problems and solve them together. And that is the third day of Kwanzaa. We still talk about Kwanzaa, because Kwanzaa is very, very significant to I and I, you know what I mean? And as we say, it's Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Yeah, it's always a way of life for us to build and maintain our community together and to make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and solve them together. So, that is what we are about to do right now. You know what I mean? Introducing and talking to the doctor from Omega Medical here in Falmouth, right? Is she there online? So we are going to welcome Dr. Messoni Taylor. Is she there? Ask the doctor, right? And we are awaiting the connection from Dr. Messoni Taylor. And this half an hour is brought to you by Omega Medical Emergency.
Omega Medical Urgent Care Center, Champion Plaza, Falmouth, provides excellent healthcare services through a qualified staff to fulfill the medical needs of its community. Omega Medical Urgent Care Center, Falmouth, focuses on quickly getting you back to your true self. We use state-of-the-art technology to diagnose and treat patients. Ultrasonography, CAT scan, digital X-rays, and laboratory services. Schedule your appointment today at Omega Medical Urgent Care Center, Champion Plaza, Falmouth. Opens Monday to Friday at 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 876-462-4571. That's 876-462-4571.
Yes. That's Omega Medical Urgent Care Center in Champion Plaza, right in Falmouth. And we have online our doctor. How are we doing, Dr. Messoni Taylor? Good afternoon. Welcome to the Community Buzz.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. I'm doing great.
I am happy to have you on the phone line, but I would rather to have you, doctor, right here beside me. You sound so charming. Why are you staying away from Fit FM and the Community Buzz? Why are you not here with me, sitting by my side, doctor? Tell me why.
Because, I'm here to serve the community, and by doing that, I need to be in office just in case.
Oh, doctor.
We have somebody that comes in that needs my service urgently. So, but we are putting things in place, man, so that we can physically be there to come visit and sit right there next to you.
The next time we want to have you inside here with us, please. And I hope you're, I am putting you on the spot that you just promise that you will be here with us the next time. It's half an hour, and the half an hour is still serving the community. It's just that you are going to have people calling in and, asking your question and such the like. And how is everything at Omega Medical Urgent and Care Center. How is everything there today?
Well, things are going good.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you mentioned Omega Medical Services, and I feel like some individuals may hear it for the first time and think we're a new kid on the block. But, you know, really and truly, this company has been around since 1997. It's just that it started in Negril, right? It's been a while, 1997.
Yeah.
But it started there in Negril, you know, and I'm actually from Trelawney. I actually went to William Nib right down the road, and I remember the yes. I remember the days when, you know, you go to the doctor and the doctors want to do their part by providing a good service, but you have to go all the way to Montego Bay or all the way to, you know, Ocho Rios to actually get the services that you need in terms of your scans and blood work and, you know, whatever it may be. So I remember when, you know, of course, me being from here, having to experience it and see family members, loved ones experience it, I was talking to the directors because they're such passionate persons who really want to share, you know, being physicians themselves, even though they're the directors for the company, they understand how important healthcare is, and not just any form of healthcare, but the quality, you know, and they wanted to expand that. And I was like, boy, you know, Falmouth would definitely benefit from that. You know, and I mean, even being a doctor myself is so, I can't.
Don't do me that now, Ray. Phone call. You are there still, doctor? With us. I hope it's not a call coming in.
Yes, I'm here. You hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead. You was talking about quality healthcare. Take it from there. Quality healthcare.
Right. I was saying that they want to bring that same quality healthcare in a location, you know, that can really benefit from it. And I was like, boy, you know, being in Trelawney, understanding the struggles to have to go so far, you know, and even the doctors themselves have to be, you know, trying to go far and wide to get these results. As I told them about Falmouth and the community, and how is it that bringing that service here would benefit those in and around the community.
Yes.
You know, because even as a physician myself, it's seeing persons come in and just trying to report things, trying about what test they did, where they went and do it. It's a struggle. It's a struggle for them. It's a struggle for the physician, and having to go back so far. So we've been here at Falmouth Champion Plaza, as you mentioned it. We provide a variety of services. You know, and as I point out, you don't have to go far anymore to get your X-ray, to get your CT scan, to get your ultrasound, to get your blood test, to get your physiotherapy. There's so many things to see a physician, all under one roof.
Yes.
All under one roof. So you're not all over the place like before. And it really helps the turnover in terms of, you know, getting the care that you need in a quicker time frame, and less stress on the doctors too. Because we are also here not just for the patients, but also for the physicians in the community. Because like I mentioned, the doctors want to do their best, and sometimes it's a struggle when you don't have the result right away.
Okay.
Or you know, you have to wait until the patients are able to go far and wide to come back with the result.
Yeah.
And so we actually work along with the physicians in the community. Even though we have a doctor's office here too, we still work along with the physicians in the community to get them back the results they need for patients.
Yes,
so patients can know exactly what is going on, and they can know what treatment they need to get.
Yes, that is such a beautiful thing to know that the other doctors or physician in the community have a place that them can come and get the results that is needed, you know, immediately how quickly can a lab result be obtained if drawn at Omega? How quickly that can be obtained?
You know, I'm happy that you asked that, because our laboratory really, because we are, as I mentioned, we have a hospital in Negril, right? And with that hospital, we have our own lab. So because of that, we are able to process samples within 24 hours of receiving them. So depending on the type of test, you know, different tests will come at different time frames depending on what is it that we're really looking into. But as early as within 24 hours, you can get a verbal report or a written report being sent off. And it's so you come into Falmouth, you get the samples taken here, and we process it in our hospital. That's the long and short of it. And so because it is our hospital or laboratory, you get back the results as early within, depending on the type, within 24 hours.
Within 24 hours. That's quick. That's quick. And would encourage people, to support Omega Medical Care and Urgent Center, because it is right here, you know what I mean? And that's why we at Fit FM glad to have you on board, you know what I mean, that we can keep informing the people, right, that, Omega Medical and Urgent Care Center is here to serve the people in Trelawney, and not just the people in Falmouth, you notice I said Trelawney, you know what I mean, the people up in a South Trelawney and the people in and around the world. You serve people outside Falmouth as well, St. Anne's, don't? Montego Bay. Yeah?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
We have persons in St. Anne that come, they come over. I mean, some persons work within the area too, even though they live in St. Anne. So it's easy for them to just stop by and get their investigation, whether it's a CT, whether it's X-ray, and it's so many. CT, X-ray, ultrasound, laboratory, physiotherapy. No, in terms of even physiotherapy, I mean, as I talk about the services, I kind of want to use like cases to help persons to understand that it really is there for you to help you. Because the thing about Omega is the slogan is your healthcare provider of choice.
Say the slogan again.
Acknowledge that people choose, they choose to come to us. And if they're going to choose to come to us, it means that we have to give them excellent service. We have to make people feel good. When you're sick, you're so unwell, you're so stressed out. You want to be in an environment where you know that you're well taken care of and everything, it can be presented. You can do everything, in the same place.
Yeah.
So let's say a person comes in and oh my gosh, back pain is so common in Jamaica, right? And people work so hard, when they look up in Tapchulani, the farming or whatever, versus just being in your home office and sitting for a long period of time. Back pain is so common.
And that is what physiotherapy to deal with back pain.
Right, that's what I'm getting into. So a lot of times, back pain, you get your medication. Yes, but there's so much pill can and cannot do, right? And some of the causes for these back pains are lifestyles, the different things that they have to go through in life, and it may not necessarily be the bone that is affected. The muscles around the area can undergo strain and stresses, especially if the right technique about lifting, poor posture, all of those things, if it not be acknowledged, it gives you back pain. Okay. So the thing about it is that physiotherapy has the ability to do even strength exercises because some people think that the back is not the back weak, sometimes it's the belly, the muscles in the belly are weak.
Yeah. So
right.
So you need to have you need to have a strong core. Make sure that
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So because the muscles in the belly are weak, you're not able to hold yourself upright, right? And so what physiotherapy does is strengthen the muscles that are activated. It also helps with different type of therapy, like heat therapy. Because when you increase blood circulation to the ear, the nuts and so forth that are there, it relaxes them. And then they use cold therapy of inflammation, and cold decreases all the little chemicals and things that go to the area that causes pain. Then they have different machines that they use. So the point is that where the pill can do some help, the physiotherapy gives you a more long-term solution.
Okay.
So then how to sit, how to lift. You get the different stretches, you get the different exercises exercises. Thing on a whole. You know, we visit to come in and you scan
So-
your X-ray to check if it's bone related, or you need to check on your ligaments and tendons. You know, like when you're cutting chicken and you have the little
Yeah.
you know, the top tendon between the keys of bone and muscles together. We have that too. And
Okay.
those sometimes are strained and you have to do the scans to pick them up. But at the same time, you don't want to go over that over and over again. But when you go to physio and you get to learn the techniques, it decreases you spending more money down the road
Yes.
to go back to doctor and get back pill and pill.
Yeah. Why people not coming for physiotherapy? Did you call it is a little bit expensive? Well, a listener have a point to make, and that is what we're.
Can you hear me, Dr. Taylor? Can you hear me? Dr. Taylor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. No wants to add something.
Okay, this is pretty much a testimonial.
Okay.
Testimonial. This is from Mrs. Stewart, and Mrs. Stewart says she got my X-ray film results within minutes, and the written report within 24 hours. She said very efficient service. All right, so this is a big up for Omega.
All right.
Did you hear that, Dr. Taylor? Mrs. Stewart.
Yes, I'm actually here. Happy to hear that testimonial.
All
Yes, but
right.
We do encourage the patient to get back the result in 24 hours. or
Right.
even depending on the time of day.
That's
Okay,
right.
okay.
And another testimonial from someone who shares my last name. You know, so you know, commenting on the service there at Omega Medical. Okay, thank you.
Your tagline again is your healthcare provider at choice. That is it. All right.
Right.
Yes. So people who want you to understand what is happening here in Falmouth, right? In Champion Plaza, it is a central point, right? Here in Falmouth that you must visit. Right. You talk about physiotherapy and a whole heap of people, you know what I mean, who have all sort of problem pertaining to knee problem. How you deal with that? You say a whole heap of patient coming up with knee problem and knee issues.
Right. You mentioned need a while ago, correct?
Yeah, knee. A whole heap of people are suffering
Right. I
from.
was actually waiting. I was so waiting for you to finish that statement, because I was actually going to touch on it a little bit, because you always hear somebody talking about some sort of arthritis in them knee,
Yes.
right? And I mean the medical term osteoarthritis. A lot of persons also think that it's okay, I have osteoarthritis, I have to live in pain forever, I have to live on pill forever. But the truth is, we want those in the community, we want those around to know that physiotherapy can actually help with pain management. So, and the thing about it, the earlier you do it, the
Yes.
better the outcome.
Whoa.
So instead of, just as accepting that this is what it is, that this is what you have to live with, the truth is, when you start therapy early, you manage your pain early, all of the things that would have worsened the arthritis, for example, weight gain,
Yes.
you are able to avoid that. Because if you think about it like this, you're having knee pain, it is delayed in terms of treatment.
Yes.
You can't, for example, let's say because of the weight you have on, that's the reason why the pressure is more on the knee. You can't exercise to lose the weight because the knee is hurting.
Yes.
So you gain more weight, and then you can't exercise, and then it's like a cycle.
Yes.
The earlier you're able to get that pain management control, you're able to move around, you have a more pleasant life. You don't have to live on pain medication, which, by the way, being on pain medication for a long period of time, it does have side effects. And as I said, pill can only do so much. So doing physiotherapy actually helps with pain management.
Yes.
And you are educated during the process.
Yes.
So you get a better, you enjoy life a bit better, because your pain is being managed, and it's not just that you popping pills.
Yes.
They do have a function, Don't get me wrong, pills do help.
Yes.
They help with the inflammatory process.
Yeah.
They help with the swelling. They do help. And
Yes.
but I'm saying there's different things that physiotherapy can do. There's the certain things that pills cannot do. So it's about managing patients on a whole, and not just pushing pills. We don't just push pills. And that is why we ensure that we actually have 2 full-time physiotherapists on our team.
Okay.
Right? And so, right.
Yeah.
So you
what-
just come in and make your appointment. Call
Yeah.
us and make your appointment, and we are here to serve you.
All
we
right.
are here to serve you.
We're going to take a small break and come forward. Still hold the line from the doctor because we have some more questions to field here. So just hold the line for us, please.
Ask the Doctor is your interactive call-in health feature brought to you by Omega Medical Urgent Care Center, 28 to 29 Champion Plaza, Fama, Trelawney, inside the Community Buzz, Mondays at 3:30 p.m. Call in on 876-513-6668 or 876-478-9144 and have your medical related questions answered by the specialist Dr. Live. That's at the Doctor. Brought to you by Omega Medical Urgent Care Center, your healthcare provider of choice on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
This is the Community Buzz on Fit FM 96.7, and we're in the half an hour. Brought to you by Omega Medical Urgent and Care Center in Falmouth, and this is Ask the Doctor, right? And Dr. Messoni Taylor, you're there online with me still?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Ask the doctor, what causes leg spasm? What causes that? That's a question from somebody. You're hearing me? What is happening here? This is the Community Buzz on Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music. I have online Dr. Messoni Taylor from Omega Medical Urgent and Care Center in Champion Plaza. And we just lost the doctor there, you know. You're there, doctor?
Yes, I am.
Okay. We'll lose it for a minute there. So I have a question. What causes leg spasm? Hello?
What was the question? Sorry, repeat that for me, please.
Yeah, what causes leg spasms?
What causes leg spasms?
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, let me start off by saying it like this. You know, when you have something wrong with your vehicle, and you bring it to the mechanic and you tell the mechanic that, boy, you know, it's making this sort of noise, but there could be 50 billion things causing that one noise, right?
Oh.
So I said that to say doctors are kind of like mechanics in a sense. And to answer that question, it's a reason why when patients come in, we ask them details as to what is going on. And that's because there's multiple things that can cause a particular thing. So I just wanted to put that out there. So leg spasms can be, when you think about the different structures in the legs, right? It can actually break it down that way. You follow me?
Yes, get you clearly. Yeah.
Right. And so even something as simple as dehydration can cause leg spasm.
Yeah.
Even something as even something as simple as dehydration can cause leg spasm. Most people have heard of the word electrolytes, you know, and one of those things that are parts of electrolytes, if there's an imbalance in that, for example, let's say, and it goes back to dehydration, let's say that a person is losing more fluid than they're actually replacing, you know, and that body deficient, in order for muscles to actually contract and relax, they use different sorts of chemicals. And one of the things that we think about is like calcium and so forth to allow the muscles to function.
Yeah.
Now, there's things that can throw that balance off. And one can be dehydration that causes electrolyte imbalances that can cause muscle spasm.
Okay.
It could even be nerve related, you know, because nerves are what are in charge of allowing our muscles to actually contract and relax.
Yes.
And if it's a case, there are many things that can affect nerves, something that can directly affect it and indirectly affect it.
Yeah.
You know, and I can go on and on about this because even hypothyroidism can cause it. That's, you know, we have a gland in our neck that is called a thyroid. That's again is responsible for certain, you know, chemical reactions in our body, and our body respond.
Yeah.
So when an individual has leg spasms, ask your doctor. Ask your doctor what it is. And this is where our services in Omega can help to provide an answer, because as I said, we have a laboratory service. So the doctor now will be able to take off blood samples that check on electrolytes. And be able to, you know, that's one of based on that test, that's one of the tests that you can actually get back the results within 24 to 48 hours. And they can now look at that to see if anything is off, you know. And I mean, even diabetes, we spoke about nerve issues. Diabetes does affect the nerve. And by even checking your how best a person's glucose levels are controlled. You do that through the laboratory service. So leg spasms can be caused by a lot of things, and I could go on and on about it, but the point is, if we're going to tie it up with the services that we offer here at Omega, being able to do your lab work, you're able to know, at least narrow down the possibilities of what can cause leg spasms.
How important it is for the patient and doctor to have a good kind of communication.
Sorry, can you repeat that for me?
How important it is for the patient and doctor relationship? How important is that?
It's extremely important. And let me elaborate on that a little bit. In order for a patient to feel help, they have to feel comfortable to want to share what they're going through. You know, and so a doctor has to be a great listener. A doctor has to be a great listener, and the only way that the doctor is going to be able to tell the patient is if the patient is able to tell exactly what's going on. Remember, we can't read minds. We can't read minds at all. And so a patient has to be comfortable to share, this is what is going on, and I have to have a great listening skill to listen and, you know, go through in their mindset what is it that could be causing. And we call that a differential diagnosis. What it is based on what the patient is indicating me that could be causing the problem. And you will never be able to reach that stage and unless the physician and the patient have a good relationship.
With time is moving so fast and we have so much question to field here, you know what I mean? How handle patient confidentiality?
I'm going to be here every other week. So
every other week, man. But they are telling, we have to ask this question pertaining, as you talk about the relationship, doctor and patient relationship, you know, we are talking about how to handle patient confidentiality and privacy. And we see a part of the whole thing on electronic health care now, seeing, which is pushing that online health care. Right, and a whole heap of things is happening under the Data Protection Act. You can elaborate on these things, you know, when a few minutes, and we'll ask a final question after that.
Right, definitely, because nobody wants their business to be at road. Put it that way, in simply said, you know. So I mean, in Jamaica, it's mandated to keep, and not just in Jamaica, I mean worldwide, is mandatory to protect the information that patients give. But even if this wasn't an act, you know, something that is mandatory, typically here in Jamaica, it's something that Omega pride themselves on as it relates to trust. Remember now, Logan is healthcare provider of choice. And if a patient doesn't trust us with their information, how can they possibly choose us? And so because of that, we have to start internally. We have to start at home. And as at home, in the company, we train our staff members. Every single staff member that comes through the door, doesn't matter what position you are, you have to go through a customer service training. And that customer service training, you are then taught how important it is that every little information that you may possibly come across in the hospital stays in the hospital.
All right,
this is gossip among us.
Thank you.
It's very important.
The final question, doctor. What insurance plan do you have? What accept the insurance plan for people? Tell us that the people them who really want to come in and check the doctor?
Yeah, of course. It's simply we accept Sagicor, we accept Guardian Life, we accept Canopy, and even for those, we know we have hotels in the area.
Yes.
So persons who don't have local insurance, we actually have a billings department where we provide documentations that they need, and we communicate with their insurance company abroad, provide them with information so that they can also be reimbursed whatever money that they spend.
Yes.
So for internationally, we cover in terms of insurances where we do the arrangements that are necessary,
Yes.
and locally we have our Sagicor, Guardian Life, and Canopy.
Nice. What about Medicos?
Yeah, Medicos as well.
Okay.
Which is Guardian Life. Medicos are Guardian Life.
And Guardian Life, yes. All right, Dr. Messani Taylor, it was a pleasure having you here. We hope that the next time we will have you here in the studio. But, very articulate, and, we're happy that, it seemed like you could have gone into radio. Your voice is fit for radio.
Thank you for having me here, and look forward to the next session, and we'll have more things to talk about then.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and that is Dr. Messani Taylor, right? And this is the Community Buzz and Fit FM, and we are in the half an hour of Omega Medical Urgent Care Center, Omega Medical Urgent Care Center, right? And Fit FM 96.7, and we will be here every other Monday, with this kind of discussion. So people, call the doctor or ask the doctor, and any struggle, any things that you're going through physically, mentally, and, emotionally, ask the doctor.
Ask the Doctor is your interactive call-in health feature brought to you by Omega Medical Urgent Care Center, 28 to 29 Champion Plaza, Fama Trelawney, inside the Community Buzz, Mondays at 3:30 p.m. Call in on 876-513-6668 or 876-478-9144 and have your medical-related questions answered by the specialist Dr. Live, that's at the Doctor. Brought to you by Omega Medical Urgent Care Center, your healthcare provider of choice on Fit FM 96.7. Your life.
Life for now. If your friends not motivate to get some smarter friends, remember the flowers might don't blossom if you know water them. So we are gonna grow wise, some only a grow big. If you alive and you not learn, then brother you not live. No. Them say life don't fear but a light up. It just not always fly like a pilot. No matter how much money you have, it not perfect. Cause me never see nobody when I hurt it. All when me not get the highlight, me not worry about the high flight. Me still I find my fight, cause I got alone know about my plight. I let me life dark like midnight, like seminar and nothing right. Me still I find my fight, got alone know about.
Yes. This is Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music, and we are here on the Community Buzz. And you know that we are smallcasting on primal4k.com, and we are on the World Wide Web, www.fitfmja.com, and you can also, have we in a little, what do you call it? Remind me of Julia, man. Sometimes the brain freeze up, Yeah.
Yes, we're on the different apps.
Yes, we're on the different apps.
Right, you can just Google. Just Google Fit. Just Google Fit, and we're there. We'll pop up.
Yeah. All right. You think there's perfection to this thing?
I
Sometimes we tie up.
Yes. Oh no, we do. Oh yes.
Yeah. So, we are going into the next hour of the program, and this next hour, we are dealing with wellness today, right? And we are going to talk to Miss Clover Myrie, right? My little troublemaker friend, She get a whole heap of trouble. Miss Clover Myrie, how you doing? Good afternoon. Welcome to the Community Buzz on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music. How are you? We're not hearing her? And she was there. Anyway, we are here on the Community Buzz Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music. And we are trying to connect to with right. Yes, this is a Community Buzz on Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music. And we are also smallcasting on primal4k.com. Or we do over Primal. Or we do. All right. Good afternoon. Our night now. Good night.
Hi, good night.
It's good night in England. Well, you're up there. I wait for me for so long. You know what I mean? How is it there? What's the weather in England now?
It's nice and warm. It's kind of cool at the moment, but it's nice and warm today.
Okay. You still I said today. What is happening? Sun is still up?
I'm sorry?
Sun is still up?
No, literally just gone down. Sun has literally just went down, yeah.
Okay, just set. The reason why I asked the question, you know, because there's other parts of the world, you know, I remember I was working in Mackinac Island, and at 10 o'clock in the night, the sun is still up, you know, on some other part of the world, yeah. So, you know, it is good. How you doing? How you doing?
I am doing okay, thank you.
All right.
I'm not so bad.
Nice. Welcome to the Community Buzz on Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music. And I'm happy to have you here. And today we are dedicating this program to wellness and health, right? And you are someone who have been in the health field, you know, for a good time now. I don't want to give away your age, so may I just say a good time. May I go left it up to you to tell the people how long you have been in this field.
Well, I'd probably want to say most of my life. Mentally, it's something that I've always wanted to do, but professionally, it's just over 20 years.
Just over 20 years, over 2 decades. That's a long time in any field. You know, I mean, a whole lot of experience there. Now, Clover, just give us a synopsis of, you know, your journey. You know what I mean? Your parents, your whole background, you know, and we can go into some more questions, you know.
Yeah, so I was born in Jamaica. I am the first girl of 7 children for my mom.
Yeah.
And 6 for my dad. I was actually born in Kingston, and then I think somewhere in the 80s when the election in Kingston was sort of pretty rough, my parents went to Manchester to live. So we grew up in Manchester. I went to primary school in Manchester, and I went to high school in Manchester, Homewood Technical. And then after that, I went back into Kingston, went to UTech for a while, and then I started working in various disciplines. I started out at first as a laboratory technologist. Then I went into pharmaceuticals distribution. And from there is when I migrated to the UK, came here, worked in the hospitality industry. But all that time, I still had an idea of becoming a nurse because my maternal grandmother was a community nurse. She wasn't actually trained, by the way, but she used to help a lot of people like deliver babies, wounds, look after wounds and everything back in those days. She, like I said, she had no university training, but she was very, very good with her hands. She was very skilled in delivering babies and just looking after people in general with all sorts of infirmities, wounds, cuts, you know, the usual things, bellyache, toothache, whatever it is. She was able to use conventional medicine to help. You know, it was never pharmaceutical
medicine. It was like herbs, more like a herbalist in a sense. And she used to use those medicines to help people. She would know what kind of bush to boil if a child was having running belly. She would know what kind of bush to boil if somebody was having a toothache. She would know what kind of bush to boil if somebody had, whatever. She was able to help everyone. And at times I actually thought she was a doctor because there were many people outside her house, lining up just to see her, and she would help. And in the middle of the night, she would be called away to go and deliver babies, so that sparked my interest at a young age. I sort of carried along that pathway. Like I said, went into laboratories, went into pharmaceuticals. Then I came here, went into hospitality, decided, this wasn't, all these other fields that I went into wasn't something I wanted to do. So I decided to carry on. I decided to take up nursing full time, so I was working and studying, and I got a diploma. My children were here by then, so I wasn't able to go directly to the hospital. Well, I was working for a short time in the hospital, but the hospitals needed, by the time I wanted to go back to work, so I worked in the hospital. I had to take time off from hospital because of my children. So childcare was very expensive at the time, still is. And after that, I went to work in a nursing home. So I worked in a nursing home for quite a few years. After working in a nursing home, I decided I really wanted to go back into the hospital. I wanted to do bedside. Although nursing home is similar to bed, but it was more acute in the hospitals. These were more people with dementia, lovely people. I learned such, and so much from them. Then I decided, I need to go back into the hospital itself, do bedside. And when I wanted to go back, they had changed the rules, because when I first did my diploma, they had changed the rules in 2009. So as of 2009, if you wanted to be a nurse in any hospital in the UK, you have to have a degree. So I went and pursued my degree, and then got my bachelor's honors degree, and went straight to work in critical care. And I have been working in ICU critical care ever since.
Okay. All right.
So that's sort of like my journey into becoming a nurse.
Let me take you forward to your grandmother. What's the name of your grandmother? You talk about your grandmother.
Linda Powell Lewis.
Linda Powell Lewis. Miss Linda Powell Lewis.
Sorry, Linda Morgan Lewis. My mom is Powell. I apologize.
Okay.
Linda Morgan Lewis. Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because you talk about herbal medicine and so many people turning up. Did she get in any trouble with the law? Did it in the police? And because say it is illegal to function that way. Jamaica boy use herbs to heal people,
Not that I knew of at the time.
Okay.
But that time I was a child. I did not know or hear of anything onwards about her getting it. As a matter of fact, some of her clients were also police, which is from the community.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And their wives and children.
I am from St. Thomas. I may see something about laboratory technician at Morant Bay Eye.
Yes.
How long was that?
It was only for a year. Sadly, Morant Bay was one of my favorite places to be. I only stayed there for a year in 1992 to 1993.
Okay. I mean, I St. Thomas man, near.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. My first son.
I was at the school on the hill.
Yeah.
I used to climb that hill every morning. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's the school my son went to.
I used to live at the teacher's flat just in front of that doctor's surgery, just in front of that hotel. I can't quite remember the name of it, but yeah.
Okay. I know where the hotel is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That hotel on the little hill there.
Yeah, just sort of like
Yeah.
on that double road going into
Yes,
Monte.
yes. I know exactly where you're
Martwick.
talking.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes.
There was a famous doctor there on that road. I can't remember his name now.
The famous
I
doctor,
think you might have-
Dr. Lampard.
Dr. Lampard.
Oh, the
There's a
famous
house in front of Dr. Lampard's office.
Once you
that I
say
used to
famous
live-
doctor in St. Thomas,
Yes.
it must be Dr. Lampard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the teacher's cottage was
Yeah.
really, that's where I used to stay for while I was in Moran Bay High. Yes.
Yes.
Dr. Lampard. I remember him now. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So you went to England in when?
Early 2000s.
Early 2000. And from that time it's just nursing.
Yes.
Good, good. You talk about your children, right? To
Yes.
take care from, you have to take off to really focus on your children. That must be something very challenging. And when we hear somebody speak about, them children, we know that you're really a true caregiver. How you balance that? Taking care of your patient and taking care of your children. How difficult is that?
For me, it wasn't difficult because my kids always came first. It was always my children first. So when I was working in the hospital and I had problems with childcare, I did not give up my children. Neither did I put my children in nurseries or anything.
So
I found a job
Yeah.
that was able to work around myself and my childcare issues.
How many children?
I have 4.
Wow, 4 children.
Yes.
And you find a way to deal with all of that. We are going to dig a little deeper into that. What kind of skills, to deal with all of that. You must have some support system around you.
Yes, at the time, I mean, earlier back in the day, I had a relationship with their father. So we both worked with each other.
Okay.
And we worked around each other as well.
Nice.
So my kids never had to go to nursery. My kids never had to stay away from home. They were always cared for at home by myself or their dad.
Okay.
So yeah, so they had both parents involved in their life ever since birth.
That's beautiful, and that is very important, because we have to look on that balance, you know what I mean? And as I read a while ago, I was looking on Ojima Collective Works and Responsibility. And we were just looking on how this function to build and maintain our community together and to make brothers and sisters our problems, and to solve them together. So we always look on Kwanzaa, that kind of principle, and to feeling happy to know that, that support system, father and mother, that nuclear family, to make sure, say, the children are well taken care of, even though you are out there doing what you have to do, to keep them in line. Now,
Yes.
Grover, we see so many things happen, when it comes to, we was just talking to Omega Medical, and over the last 4 years, we're going to go right there, from 2020 up till now. It is really a challenging period, when it comes to healthcare, more so now, and we see what happened in COVID, where the work that you are in, it was very, very hectic and a struggle when it comes to how you navigate through all of that.
Repeat the question, sorry.
I'm saying during COVID, it was very challenging, for people like you, in that fraternity. And I'm asking you, explain to us how you navigate through all of that challenges that was happening at the time.
Okay, so initially it was difficult because I don't think anyone in the world was prepared for COVID. I don't think anyone even knew what COVID was. No one understood what it was. And I remember in the beginning we had a staff meeting in our lecture theater at work, and they were explaining to us this thing.
Mm-hmm.
None of us had anticipated the extent as to which this illness was going to affect both the nursing staff,
Mm-hmm.
the nursing staff, the doctors, or patients.
Mm-hmm.
And personally, for me, it was a day-to-day basis for me. One of the things I learned pretty quickly was to being empathetic is part of your job. You cannot work, especially in critical care, and not have empathy. So that was that was paramount for me. But saying that, it was also a very difficult time, and I'm not quite sure anyone who has worked through COVID would say to you, no, it's okay. You had to be mentally and physically strong. You had to have emotional intelligence to be able to work under those conditions, because it was difficult for me personally, because I am someone who's claustrophobic, and I had to wear this really tight mask over my face. And there were times when I thought I could not breathe. There were times when I felt like I could not breathe. But I decided that it was hell or high water. I don't know if that's something I can say. Apologies.
No, man.
But I had to wear it to protect myself. And I knew that if I didn't go to work, maybe someone or others may die. So I needed to do my part in ensuring that someone gets to go home to their family, and someone gets to live, and some family gets to say hello or even goodbye to their relatives, because that was something that happened quite often during COVID, where we had phones and iPads and tablets where we were just having to call family member and show them their next of kin or their loved one's last breath. And I can assure you that is not something that you want to be doing as a person. Neither is it someone you want to be happening to you as a person. Unfortunately, this was something that was tasked to us as nurses. And I believe, although it may sound quite harsh,
yes,
but a lot of people were able to have closures with their family members who have passed.
Yes.
Because not knowing what is happening to them because of all the lockdown, nobody was able to visit. So not knowing how your family died, not seeing them, and a lot of it was done by request, please note, because it's not something that we would just call you because your family is passing. It is something that is requested. And it's something that we would offer families. A lot of people didn't want to have it, and there were a lot of people who wanted to have it. They were happy to take that phone call. Some people didn't want to know. They just didn't want to have that memory, while others wanted it. So it was more of a consent between the hospital, between us nurses and these families. So when I say we call them, it was for the people who had consented to have this last rites, last image, last prayer, last whatever they do, last smile, and all of that, and last breath with their family members. So, but sadly, we also lost staff.
Yeah.
In ICU where I worked, we lost one of our very beautiful, beautiful soul. She actually passed away on the unit, and that hit me like somebody punched me in the gut, because what made it even more, what made it even more horrible for me is that she had a daughter who was 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I thought to myself, this lady is never going to go home to her kids, to her daughter ever again. this child will never see her parent again. And I said to myself, there is no way I am going to, I mean, unless this is something that the Father has ordained, but if it means that, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to wear this PPE, I'm going to sweat, I'm going to have backache, whatever I need to do, I'm going to ensure that, I had scars on my face during COVID.
Wow.
But this was me ensuring that I do that. I get to come home to my children. I get to leave. There were many staff, not just on my unit, many staff throughout the hospital who passed away as well. And the family member never got to see them again. So that was me protecting my children. And when I come home in the evenings, I don't interact with my children until I have a shower and wash my hair. So I never, I never brought it home.
Wow.
Thank God. I did everything that I could to ensure that my children were never at risk or in danger of catching it.
Wow. You talk about having on phone and tablet, that people could see the last breath of their loved ones, that kind of touching. And I am looking on first world and third world country, because I don't believe that was across the board or across the world. I have a brother who died from COVID, and the last time I spoke with him, he told me that he's not. Well, he just said we must pray for him. And I heard that, I heard that from him the Thursday night, and by the Friday night, he passed. Right? Would you mind say which hospital you was working in at that time that is so equipped? You know what I mean? To make people.
No, I'm still working in the same hospital.
The same hospital, okay. And what is that? The name of that hospital?
It's called Hillenden Hospital.
Okay. Wow. And they were well prepared for all of that with phone and tablets.
No, we never were. Nobody was prepared for COVID, but we had to improvise. We had to, this was all about improvisation, and the fact that the government had closed the country down and nobody was able to come in and see their relatives.
Yeah.
So we had to make way.
Yeah.
And
so when you say we, I just want to get clarity on it. Is it the nursing staff or the staff at the hospital, or it is the government, see necessary to provide?
No, it was the staff. It was us, the nurses at the hospital.
Wow.
I don't know what other wards did, but that's what we did in ICU.
Okay. That is commendable. You know what I mean? That is, something that, wow. Yeah, that's deep, And that's why I am asking the question. You talk about empathy, when it comes to work in critical care. And with this kind of mindset, you know what I mean? Or this kind of training, because you must get some kind of training, to have this kind of empathy, you know what I mean, towards a patient. The reason why I asked this question as I was talking to you, I don't know if it is because of the kind of tension or because of the low wage, because we realize that a lot of people here are migrating, nurses are leaving Jamaica, you know what I mean, trying to find a better way of living, but being to hospital sometime here, it is a different kind of experience, to always say nurses or some of these people deal with the sick people, I don't say it's everybody still that way there. Recently, one of my brethren died at a hospital out in St. Thomas, and it is the same cry that nobody really never pay attention to him, and he was there, So we see that it is really challenging to deal with these things. Nurse, me kind of really I get a little bit emotional, when me hear you make that it pertaining to COVID. as an ICU nurse, just tell the people out there some of the things that you have to do as an ICU nurse.
Repeat the question. Tell some of it
as an intensive care unit nurse, as an ICU nurse, tell the people some of the things that come with that, the things them that you have to do,
Okay, so oh gosh, where do I start? So as an intensive care nurse, usually it is stated that once you're in intensive care, the probability of you leaving is almost none. So once you get to intensive care, you have to be extremely sick. And we look after what we sometimes call the nearly dead.
Whoa.
And that's not an understatement, that is a fact.
Yeah.
And we're talking about people, the worst kind of traumas you can think of. And lots of like cardiac arrests. We have lots of suicide patients. We have patients who, because the hospital I work at, we feed London Heathrow Airport. So we have people who take sick in flight and have all sorts of problems. Sometimes people with tropical diseases go to other countries, leave from the UK, go to other countries, and they get ill, get sick in other countries, and then they come back to the UK with all kinds of illnesses and diseases, and they're very, 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 very sick. And when we get patients, when we have cardiac arrest, we literally have to, do all the chest compressions, bag the patient, try to get the patient back alive. And we can do that for as long as it takes for that patient to have what we call ROSC, that's return of spontaneous breathing. So we will do everything in our power to keep that patient alive. And then we will what we call mechanically ventilate the patient, meaning putting that patient, we will sedate them, put them in a coma. So it's an induced coma. We put them in a coma and we will treat them until they start to show signs of improvement. Once they start to show signs of improvement, we will call what we extubate. So initially if they're very sick, like cardiac arrest or whatever, for us to really treat them, we have to do what we call an intubation. So we have to intubate the patient, where we put a tube down their mouth and put them on what we call a ventilator. I'm sure you understand the ventilator because there's an issue in Jamaica about ventilators. So we put them on ventilators where we mechanically ventilate them, and we put them in induced comas. Some people come in already in comas, and we just keep them there comfortable, medicate until they start to show signs of improvement. Unfortunately, sometimes what we call comorbidities, because of the comorbidities, past medical history, sometimes we're able to save, sometimes we're not. Sometimes, the body gives up and people, they go. We don't save everyone. We can't save everyone, but we try to save as many people as we can. And we go all out with all interventions just to make sure that that patient gets every single possible care. And if that care is not being provided by us, like what if this patient needs a special cardiac hospital, we'll transfer them to cardiac hospitals. We'll transfer them to renal hospitals. We transfer them to where specialist hospitals within the UK that will care for them. People with ECMO, all sorts, and they get specialist care when they go to these hospitals. In our hospital. In our hospital, we, like I said, we try to ensure that we care for them to every extent that we can. And like I said, but we do sometimes as well look after patients with post-op care. The extent of that is if they need certain medications that only ICU nurses are trained to give. So we're trained to give almost every medication you can think of, but not the other nurses on the wards. So if a patient, say, go to the theater for major surgery, even minor surgery, and things can happen in theater, please bear in mind. And, for whatever reason, they need medication to support the blood pressure and all sorts. We get those patients and we will look after them maybe for a day or two.
Mhm.
Once this blood pressure comes back to normal and they don't need these medications, we send them back to the ward, what we call step down. We step them down back to the ward and all of that. But the thing with ICU is like the turnover is very quick and very high
Mhm.
because of the level of illness of the patients. So you could have 2-3 patients who may die in one day, which is sadly, it's not. And we have to, I must also add that there are times when we have patients that we have to literally withdraw treatment from. And I've had someone argued with me one day to ask me if we're gods, and we're like, no, we're not gods. But sometimes if you have an animal and that you see the animal suffering, and we know that this patient is never ever going to the treatment is not working for a month or two, and you know that this patient will, even if we take them off the ventilator, they'll never survive. And one thing I must add is that an intensive care bed in my hospital costs over £3,000 per patient. So the longer you keep a patient in the hospital, that's the amount of money the government has to pay for that patient. And sometimes if you have a patient for a month or two or more, and there is no chance of that treatment working, then sometimes the doctors are the ones who make the decision. They will have meetings with the family, don't get me wrong. The family is more than involved in all these decisions. Families are never exempted, but you have to also understand that the final decision is made by the doctors.
Wow.
And once the doctors make these decisions, they will call the family in, have a multidisciplinary meeting and say, look, it is not working, whatever you're doing, it's not, and we may withdraw treatment. Sometimes minutes, 1 after withdrawing treatment, the patient, that.
Yeah.
Those were the only things.
Yeah.
We have elderly people, we have even young people, 19, 18, 17-year-old people who, patients who die.
Yeah.
And we have a very, what we call a very systematic process where, especially with the younger people, where we introduce the family to organ donation as well. So if you have a young person who comes in, and I think we go up to about 60-year-old, if their heart is still good, we last year we were able to save 13 lives from organ donation. 13 people are alive today because we people who have passed away, we were able to harvest their organs with the agreement of the family. Don't get me wrong. So, like everything that we do, we always involve the family. So this is all consented.
Organs
Organs
like
your heart,
Okay.
liver, kidney, lungs, you name it.
Okay.
Everything that is still viable. It goes. It's a part of the NHS trust where and you have people who sign up for organ donation as well, like to say if something should happen to me, I want my organ to go to someone else,
Okay.
so that person can live. So that's basically what we do.
I want to get back to this £3,000 per bed, and you say this is in a Jamaica. Would I say taxpayers? The government pay for that?
Yes.
So when a patient in a hospital, when I say £3,000 per what bed, up for what
Per
period?
night. Per night.
£3,000 per night?
Yeah. An intensive care bed is a very expensive commodity in the UK.
Huh?
Do the calculations if you wish.
No, we have to go check. No, man. £3,000
It's up to £3,000 per night. Yeah.
Per night? So, a man in a hospital for 3 weeks
Yeah.
on a bed.
That's what it costs. That's what it costs the government. Yes.
Wow.
So sometimes when I hear all the chattering in Jamaica, I smile.
Why you smile?
Because they have no idea.
So you're saying healthcare is more expensive there than here? That's what you're saying?
Healthcare is much more expensive in the UK than in Jamaica, especially in intensive care. And I think what a lot of people don't understand is that in the UK, in Jamaica, you can have your money and you can go to the doctor and say, look, I want to see the doctor, and you get to see the doctor today.
Mm-hmm.
You could wait months in the UK to see a doctor. You could wait a very long time to see a doctor. If you want to see your local doctor, you can call a specialist. If you want to see a specialist, unless you decide to go private, you can wait for a long time.
Oh.
You can wait for quite a long time. Especially now, I have a situation with one of my sons who has to do a surgery, and it's almost a year, and now they've canceled the surgery because they're going on strike, and the surgery has now been moved back to another 2 to 3 weeks.
So even if it is critical, that's what you're saying?
No,
it's not critical.
My son is no, it's not.
Yeah. What if it is critical? What if it is critical? It's urgent. What if it is urgent?
There has been a lot of politics and a lot of argument going around about the fact that doctors are striking and the need for people who have critical things. Life-threatening situations, I believe people can still go to the hospital. There will still be doctors, but the planned surgeries, like my son, they're not doing those. Emergencies, yes. Critical situations, yes. Planned operations, no. Non-urgent operations, no.
Yeah. You mentioned doctor striking. Why? More pay? Better?
Yes.
Oh, straight up more pay.
The thing is, I'm not quite sure how much of the NHS is being perpetuated in Jamaica, but it's in crisis in terms of nursing staffing and doctors staffing, and as a result, a lot of nurses, a lot of us work long hours. I work for 13 hours a day.
13
religiously. That's my contracted. That's my contracted.
That's so sometimes you go over 13. That's what you're saying.
My contracted is 12. But you go because I start work at 7:15. Most times I'm finishing work at 8:30 at night.
Whoa. Whoa.
But although you work for 12, you don't get paid for 1 hour. So
I spoke to you because if you know, you're a friend kind of person. I spoke to you and I said, yeah, I need to know more about you. I spoke to you and you said to me, see, that you talk about work now, but you say the job that you don't see it as work. Or you don't see it as work with all of these challenges.
No, because like I said, you
love, hold on, let me ask you again. Oh, you love this thing so much. Oh, you love it so much.
Because if you on the smile and the look on someone's face when they get to walk out of hospital, that makes your job, that makes what you do worthwhile. When somebody comes to say thank you, that makes your job worthwhile. I personally believe that you cannot be a caregiver if you hate the job. You cannot be someone who hates you will never be an effective nurse. You will
Mhm.
never be a compassionate nurse. You will never be a caring nurse if you hate your job. You cannot. Those and that is what your job entails. You have to be caring. You have to be compassionate, and you have to be emotionally intelligent, because you have to understand yourself as well. Because if you don't understand yourself, you get over emotional, over excited. You have to understand when to, when to go with the flow, when to be emotional. Because there are times when you do get emotional, and there are times when you can't afford to be emotional.
Mhm.
So you have to know, you have to show. And one of the other thing is that as a nurse, you have to interact with family members. And I mean, on a couple of occasions we've had patients who die, and I can tell you that you could probably stay in Jamaica and hear the family screaming, and that's your job. It's not your job as a nurse to go console them, but it would be so difficult for you to stand there and you hear that. And
Mhm.
especially if you yourself is a mother or a sister or
Mhm.
someone to say, you wouldn't want that happening to your family, and nobody goes to say I'm sorry, or nobody goes to even give them a hug. Or
Mhm.
no, sometimes that is all they want, the
Mhm.
families. They just want somebody to hug them
Mhm.
and let them know that, look, your family passed away peacefully.
Mhm.
Look, you just there's some reassurance
Mhm.
they need. And if you don't have that in you, if you can't, if you can't be that kind of person to family members and patients, you're not in the right job.
Mhm.
You cannot be in the right job.
Mhm.
And that is why it is never a job to me. It is something I love to do. And I when I go to work before I go to work in the daytime, I always pray. And my prayer is always two things:
Mhm.
not to let my patient die today, and not to let me die today.
Mhm. Wow.
There are two things.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it works out.
Mhm.
One of us ends up not dying.
Mhm.
But most times the two of us are alive when I leave my work.
Okay.
And those are the only two things I pray for. And I will do everything in my power just to ensure that my patient stays alive. As long as I hand over my patient and that patient is alive, my job is done. I come home. I always say to my friends, look,
Mhm.
I make sure that I do everything in my power to
Mhm.
make sure that dignity,
Mhm.
respect, and
Mhm.
everything is afforded to my patient.
Mhm.
So when I get my pay, I
Mhm.
can spend my money in peace.
Mhm.
I come home, I can sleep in peace. I've got nothing,
Mhm.
absolutely nothing on my mind to worry about, wonder
Mhm.
anything about, why did I do this? Did I not do this? Why didn't I do that?
Mhm.
Do you understand? The only thing sometimes it's when we have like emergency situations, which we do like cardiac arrest and all of
Mhm.
that. Sometimes after we do like debriefing, what we
Mhm.
could have done better,
Mhm.
what we could have changed, blah blah blah. So the next patient will have a better experience, and
Mhm.
we are forever changing,
Mhm.
forever evolving unit as well.
Mhm.
And that is why as nurses, we have to constantly learn, because
Mhm.
nursing is all about research. We have to
Mhm.
constantly learn about new things, new ideas. People are bringing out new researches for nurses every single week, every
Mhm.
month. There are things out there that we are learning and can learn. It doesn't matter how old you are as a person,
Mhm.
but there are new ideas out there, and it's good for you as well as
Mhm.
to learn as a person something that you can know.
Mhm.
And when it comes to your job and you see something, you can apply it, you can introduce it, you can teach your fellow nurses about it.
Mhm.
So for me, it's nursing is not a job.
Mhm.
It's never was ever a job.
Wow. Wow. Um, how many times you say I'm thinking the kind of work you do, you have seen it all. You see beautiful smiles, somebody who you never meet, you meet them for a few days or for a particular time, and just literally fell in love with this individual, and then one day that individual, you see the last breath. All these things important impact you as a nurse?
I'm sorry, the thing went really bad just now. How does what impact?
I'm saying, you have seen it all. You see beautiful people, come in, you might fall in love with that individual naturally, just a beautiful smile. And then you just see the last breath of that individual, or that affect you.
Like I said, it's something that is, there were times when situations like that, like the other day we had a patient who was flying in from another country through the airport to come and see some loved ones, and just got sick. I can't remember the backstory, but I can't remember if it's on the plane or at the airport. She was taken to our hospital, and in the middle of treatment, she wasn't responding, and within an hour, I think, of being with us, she passed away. And I never got the chance to meet her because I was just right next door. But when you hear the cries and the scream, and I think what really shook me most of all, she was an elderly lady, maybe about 70s or 80s, I can't tell, don't remember. But her husband, very tiny, very petite man, Indian man, and I don't know if it was the tears in his eyes that got to me, but he looked at me and he said, my wife, 50 years, he said. And that broke me.
Wow.
Because this man has known this lady all his life. He's never been without her. And I spoke to a nephew, and he said they never left each other. And this is the first time they're ever going to. And I've never heard a man cry that painful.
Wow.
And that day I looked at my colleague and I said, this is the only time I hate my job. That's the part of my job I hate, when families are torn apart by death. It's not even like what we don't do. It's just death has decided that, you know what, somebody's got to go, and death, it tears families apart. And even with all the things that we were doing to help his wife, it was her time to go. It was her time.
Yeah.
But his crying as an elderly man was painful for me.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, he's not even the kind of person that you think, okay, can get another wife. He doesn't even look like he would. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So his soulmate is gone.
It's gone.
His soulmate, he doesn't,
Yeah.
He may have other families, but when you think of
yes.
dynamics of that relationship and everything, and his soulmate, that's it.
Yeah.
And I never saw them again, but it makes me wonder. I hope, he looks after himself, because there is a thing called broken heart syndrome, and a lot of people don't know this.
Whoa.
And I feel like that's definitely what's going to happen to him.
Broken heart syndrome.
But I hope not.
I hope not. Wow. More and more, me happy for really talk to you, and me give thanks that I listen to my inner voice to invite you to come and speak with us, because I am learning so much here, and I hope that, you could communicate with some of our people here in Jamaica, because this kind of information, and we're glad that we have you on Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music, to share this, This is something that me I look into. £3,000 per night.
I'm on Facebook. Dr. Asha Mwendo, she says, imagine in Jamaica, hospital beds are full, and most of these beds are paid for by taxpayers as well here in Jamaica.
We have a lot of, we are full here in the UK as well.
Yeah.
Believe me, beds are, we we have patients who are waiting to go to other hospitals, and the hospitals are also full. Even specialist hospitals, they are full as well. So we also have the same problem.
So
Our NHS waiting time sometimes is 6 hours, 8 hours. Emergency waiting hours actually, long time wait time.
Whoa! So
they do sometimes try to cut it down very short, like 4 hours, but it can go up to 6 hours, 8 hours more sometimes to wait to in accident and emergency, or what we call or ER, whichever is preference.
Oh. And the way how people eat, the way how people live, the high stress of life. You see this thing growing or decreasing. You're going to see more sick people coming into hospital. What is your experience for the past 20 years? Is you see the increase of sick people or the decreasing of people sick? Because according to what we are hearing now, to people who claim say them have data, is that people are living more healthier than the past 20, 30 years. What is your experience?
No, you definitely will have more sick people, because what I find is that global migration is a huge thing right now. And what a lot of people back in the day, a lot of people didn't have visas and didn't have passports and didn't have all sorts, and now people are taking the opportunity to travel to other countries. But I want to implore people who are traveling to other countries, get vaccinated. You don't know what kind of disease that's living in those countries. Get yourself vaccinated, because some countries have diseases that are synonymous to those countries. You may not find them, because like tropical diseases, there's some diseases that may be in Jamaica that you might not find in the UK. Diseases in the UK you may not find in Jamaica because of their habitat. Some diseases, they thrive better in the heat, some thrives better in the cold. So if people are traveling all over the world, they're insects and animals and all sorts, rats and all sorts in other countries you may come into contact with. Just get yourself vaccinated.
When you say vaccinated, what kind of vaccine are you talking about?
So you would have to contact like your local Ministry of Health, and or you go on Google and you find out if a country requires any vaccination, because I don't know if you know that from here, if I need to come home, if I really wanted to, there are certain vaccinations that the UK government say I should take.
If you want to come to Jamaica?
And my children, yes. There are many countries that, if not all countries, who some countries are high in tuberculosis. Some countries are high in, so you have to Google the country you're going to and check what diseases and all of that that's prevalent in these countries.
So like a Jamaica now, come on to know that, like a Jamaica, coming to Jamaica, what are some of the disease if you go on the website?
You know what, I don't remember offhand, but it is something that's on Google. You can easily, if I go through the UK government website, I can check what they are.
So I'm glad I know we're going to wrap up. So like me want come to the UK right now, saying, what are some of the things that I would need to protect myself from, or to vaccine?
In terms of vaccines?
Yes. What are some of the diseases?
I am not quite sure, because I've never really taken any. I've never taken any to Jamaica. A lot of them are advisory. They're not compulsory.
That's it. I want to make sure it's not compulsory.
Some countries are compulsory. Some countries are advisory. They advise you to take vaccines, so you can take it if you want. Some countries are compulsory. So if you go in like certain countries in Africa where Ebola and certain illnesses are prevalent, then you would want to make sure that you make sure you take your vaccines. You prophylactically, just make sure that you don't pick up, and even if you do, and if you go to countries and you're not sure about their food, you're not sure about certain things, and this, just be careful, be conscious. Just have your wits about you. It's not about being robbed or anything either, because a lot of people, most of our fears when we go to other countries is, somebody's going to rob me, take a lot of people do not think about the food they're eating,
Mm-hmm.
the kind of food they're eating,
Yeah.
where the establishment that they're eating their food,
Mm-hmm.
not thinking about, okay, let me wash my hands because I'm in a different country and you don't know what you've touched.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because I'm OCD.
Yeah.
But all these things are important to go
Yeah.
into other countries.
Are
I just don't.
what
Yeah,
are
sorry.
what kind of supplement? Because you're a traveler, you know, I see you all over the world, you know, sometimes.
Yeah.
See, so otherwise from taking vaccine, what encourage or you encourage people to keep their immune system up, you know?
To keep up their immune system,
Yeah.
just eat healthy.
Yes. Yes.
And if you're eating the right things,
Mm-hmm.
you should stay healthy. In
Okay.
terms of immunity, I would want you. It's best to like go to a doctor, check your immunity, because if your
Mm.
immunity is low on certain things,
Yeah.
then you may want to check. You want to top up that with,
Mm-hmm.
So if you're low on iron, you get some iron supplements.
Yes.
Whatever it is, because sometimes we have people who are immunosuppressed and
Mm.
all of that. So
Yeah.
people who are immunosuppressed and all of that, those people are most susceptible to infections and stuff. So if you think you are,
Mhm.
just get a doctor to do a health check on you.
Yeah.
Once you get your health records back,
Yeah.
then you can start living a normal, healthy life. I mean, the idea of living a healthy life is an individual choice,
Yes.
because everybody has their own perception about what they think is a healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
I mean, your idea of a healthy lifestyle might be different from mine,
Yes.
but at least we're all adults and we can think for ourselves. So just let's make sure that whatever you're doing, it's in the best interest for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's in your own best interest. So,
Yes. Yes.
you know,
My dear Clover Myrie, you make the interview
Sure.
so easy and smooth. Not even a break I don't take, and it just fly off. The hours just go. You know what I mean? I am indeed, happy to have you here. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we give thanks for all the information
I'm happy
you
to be
share. Yeah, and I believe I'm going to have you here again. Because there's so much to learn from
Whenever
you.
you're ready.
Yeah, there's so much to learn from you. You know what I mean? And enough
Yeah.
thanks. And
But
we really want to
yeah.
salute you, for the great work that you are doing, and salute all your co-workers, and to just talk about the whole thing of being compassionate.
I believe it's a salute for all the nurses worldwide.
All right.
I think all of us.
Yeah.
I think all of us are in some way or the other doing a remarkable job.
Yes.
I think nursing is one of the professions that's least respected,
Yes.
and a lot of people don't understand the dedication that it takes to
be a good nurse.
It's not just. I mean, everybody's dedicated to their job. I think.
Yeah.
But when you think that you are actually helping to save a life, you're helping somebody to go home to their family.
Yes.
You are helping, even if it means giving them a tablet,
Yeah.
or giving them an injection.
Yeah.
You are inadvertently helping someone to get better.
Good.
But sometimes you don't feel like that because the appreciation, the respect, everything, nothing is there.
All
but
right.
I don't do my job for appreciation or respect. I do it for the love of it. But at least sometimes it's nice to hear even a thank you.
And we want to say thank you, and we appreciate, love you. Not even appreciate. We appreciate, love you, and we will talk again. We'll talk again. We are completely out of time. Thank you for being here, Clover Myrie, and just stay safe and continue to do the great work that you're doing. You're indeed a gem to the world. Love and light. Yes, this is Imara, the musical revolutionary, and that is Miss Clover Myrie, right? Nurse, intensive care nurse, whoa. So much you learned here, I never know, so this tea are expensive. Let me tell you people, when you make sure you want to eat right, you see, and exercise and do the right thing, because I am saying $3,000 per night for your bed. Well, this is the community. Pound. No, sir. Never calculate that, 1 week in a hospital in London. No, let me tell you, so man, if you check say to eat healthy is expensive, well, see, it's more expensive. Make you better know that, right? See, so we want to thank Omega Medical, all right, and we want to thank Dr. Messonny Taylor for being here, right? And people, want to check it out. Check out. Go to Champion Plaza, shop 28 and 29, right? And right in Champion Plaza there, see? And we want to just big up all the caregivers, right? And it is very important to have great relationship with your doctors and your nurses, and because them work can be very tedious and stressful, yeah? And don't carry your stress, but fling down upon them. Take care of yourself, yeah. This community buzz is about health, and we give thanks that we come up with that idea. So we thank Primal 4K also, you know what I mean? And we just look forward to next strong. Next strong is International Reggae Day. We're going to have a different kind of program, some music, and we're going to talk to some artists, some musicians, and maybe producers and players in the industry, to just hold our vibes and the community buzz, the music community we'll focus on next strong. Love and light.